new goals. The new century also brings a very familiar challenge. Beat this man and you could become the first EA Supercross champion of the 21st century. A simple plan, very difficult to execute. It's EA Supercross from Anaheim next. Tonight from Edison International Field in Anaheim, California, Toyota Trucks presents the EA Sports Supercross Series. Hello, everybody. I'm Art Ekman. For the Supercross fan, the season's opener is like Christmas and New Year's all wrapped up into one evening. More than 45,000 fans have packed this beautiful stadium to see the 21st century voted in and Supercross take over. Intrigue is in the air despite the fact that one man, Jeremy McGrath, has won 6 of the last 7 championships. First of all, the last 4 season openers have been won by 4 different riders. 1997 and 1998, Greg Albertine and Sebastian Tortelli won their first Supercross victories and so far their last in season openers. Last year, the King of Anaheim, he got that title because of 4 consecutive victories. Jeremy McGrath had the spotlight stolen away from him by Ezra Lust. Lust not only winning the first round of the season last year, but also the return bout here in Anaheim in round 5. That Ezra Lust, Jeremy McGrath rivalry was expected to be intensified here this afternoon in Anaheim. However, in the second practice session, Ezra Lust crashed into 2 other riders, breaking a collarbone. It is highly likely he won't be able to ride in tonight's race. Catching up with him just after the incident was our Davey Coons.
Thanks, Art. It didn't take long here at Anaheim for a big story to develop. 2-time defending Anaheim champion Ezra Lust was involved in a 3-rider pileup in practice. He is out for tonight, and he's out indefinitely. I started out over in the Kawasaki pits with John Dowd to find out exactly what happened with the crash.
I think Albie just slid off the face of the jump and cased the next one and kind of crashed, and I had kind of seen the whole thing, so I kind of cased the thing behind him, but I managed to stop, before I hit Albie's bike, so I was kind of stopped and just getting ready to kind of find my way through, and I guess Ezra was coming up behind us. He didn't see the whole thing, and he just kind of plowed right into me. I was actually still sitting on my bike at the time, but Ezra, I guess the flagger wasn't standing there or whatever, and got a little road rash there, That's Ezra's axle bolt right there, I guess. I kind of have a little mark on my back from that too, but I'm all right though.
Well, they'd thrown a little water on the track and, came out of a turn taking the normal line that I usually take and hit the jump, and my rear wheel just slid right out from under me, and I ended up going down with nothing too serious, and then it looked like there was a bit slow on the flagging, and John Dowd ended up crashing into my bike, and then Ezra came right after that and crashed into his, and didn't end up being too good.
Ezra, tell us what the damage is.
Well, right now it just looks like I dislocated my shoulder. It's not really bad. Dr. Chris Berg and from back home is here, and he thinks that it's going to be okay. It's just, when you do something like that, you just strain the muscles, I guess, and that's really what's hurting me right now. Just swollen up pretty good, but it's going to be okay. I don't think I need any kind of surgeries or anything, so I'm just, unlucky something like that would happen.
You were the obvious favored contender coming into this series. This has to be a crushing blow.
Yeah, it's probably one of the worst I think ever, especially here at the first round after the past 2 months of doing what I've been doing and getting myself prepared, my body prepared, and Honda, all the work they've done on the new 2000 CR250, and we still got Kevin and we still got Sebastian, and just gonna put all our hope into those 2 guys.
David, what a frustrating situation this is for Ezra Lust.
What a blow to Honda, because for the past 2 seasons, Ezra's been the runner-up in the championship. So of all the guys, it looked like Ezra had the best chance to knock Jeremy off that #1 spot, and now he doesn't have the opportunity. And knowing Ezra Lust, we've seen him ride in pain. Last year in San Diego, he got landed on his shoulder by Greg Albertine, still won the event with Jeremy breathing down his neck the final few laps. So it must be pretty bad for him to sit this one out.
Jeff Emig is in the house, but of course he broke both wrists on New Year's Eve practicing for tonight's season opener and will be out for perhaps the entire season. So before the season starts, Jeremy McGrath has everything going his way. Just 2 days ago, here at the stadium, Pace Motorsports CEO Gary Becker presented Jeremy with his 6th championship ring. And representatives from Toyota gave him the keys to a new Toyota truck for winning last year's title. We'll be back with the action on the track when EA Sports Supercross continues from Anaheim, California. EA Sports Supercross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda race team Honda Ride Red, and by Toyota, on the edge every day, and by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. Welcome back to Anaheim, California for the opening night of EA Sports Supercross. What a grand way to begin the 21st century with another sellout crowd here in Southern California. The riders are at their line right now getting ready for our first qualifying heat of the evening. The qualifying procedure for Supercross begins with 2 qualifying heats. The top 4 finishers at each heat get the choice gate selections, earning the spot in the main event, where the rest of the field then proceeds to the semifinals. Finishers 1 through 5 transfer from the main event out of each semi. The 2 spots at the gate remaining going to the top finishers in the last chance qualifier. Tonight, David, these riders have a lot to think about. It's a very busy first round track.
I've talked with some of the guys, and they don't really know what to call it. It's very unorthodox layout. There's some obstacles out there that are very different from what they've seen before, and even if the timing is just spot on, it's still a little bit abrupt.
Let's check in with Davey Coombs, trackside.
Well, I'm down here. I got to tell you guys, the track is a little slicker than it might look from where you see on your screens because they watered a little bit earlier. It's not rained in California for a while, so I don't think the guys are used to it. I think you're going to see a lot of slips and bobbles tonight.
Here in the first heat, you see Mike LaRocco, who's coming off such a fine season, number 5. Number 16 on his new team, Team Kawasaki, John Dowd. Also in this heat, Damon Huffman, Kevin Windham, David Villeman out of France, now running for Team Yamaha. Jean-Sebastian Waugh from Canada. Tyler Evans, Koiketa from Japan. Michael Brandes, a 125 rider, is getting some 250 time here before the 125 East opens up, as is Brock Sellards, number 18, you might see there. And Stefan Roncada from Menifee, California, by way of France. Yamaha of Troy's rider also testing the 250 waters.
Good to get his feet wet a little bit and just be in competition.
Old friend of ours, Kyle Lewis, in this lineup, David.
Number 112, looking pretty sharp in practice. Japanese national champion coming back over here to the United States.
30-second board is up when that goes sideways. The gate will drop from 5 to 10 seconds, and we will be underway. The EA Sports Supercross Series for the year 2000 is just moments away from beginning. Let's watch and listen. A good clean start here in our first qualifying heat, as number 14 is Kevin Windham hitting the whoops. Number 20 in second place is Damon Huffman, and down in the whoops they go. It's Koiketa, number 39, Takeshi Koiketa. Koiketa coming off a pretty good motocross season, winning some Privateer of the Year honors. Here's Kevin Windham, number 14, and Damon Huffman. It's good to see him back with Team Suzuki now, doing well after a trying year last year.
That's where he had all his success in the 125 class, winning his championships. Second and third, both riding with new teams.
Ezra Lusk was supposed to be in this heat, but is not racing tonight after separating that shoulder. Damon Huffman, number 20, a 2-time 125 champion, has had his problems with injuries and getting into the flow. Number 18, Brock Sellards, FMF, the 125 rider, trying out the 250s here tonight.
He's been really fun to watch on the 250. It's the first time I've ever seen this.
Let's take another look now, David, at the start.
Well, Kevin Windham right there in the middle just comes out, gets a great jump, hooks up. He's got the clean line into the first corner, but watch right behind him. The guys in the middle are getting sandwiched.
So the winner of our Yahoo Sports.com Whole Shot Award, you got it, Kevin Windham.
By a mile. And looking smooth right now. On my watch, I had him the fastest earlier in practice. The funny thing about Kevin is when you watch him, he doesn't look like he's going that fast, but his lap times show that he is. He's just so smooth and fluid out there.
1:03, a lap time to Damon Huffman's 1:06 in second place.
That's a big difference.
In third place is John Dowd, number 16. I said, hey, you look pretty good in green. He says, yeah, I just hope I don't go to the wrong truck after being with Yamaha for so many years. And look at that, number 18, Brock Sellers. Sellers is putting some pressure on Roncada, the 125 rival. And he wants to put pressure on John Dowd right now, coming through the whoops.
It worked on Roncada. Roncada was unable to jump that finish line double. Like Davey said, it's getting slick in places, and if you don't hook up, you can't get over these jumps, and it wrecks the whole rest of the straightaway.
Wyndham, our leader, Huffman in second, but our battle right now is for third. Brock Sellers with a good block pass on the veteran, John Dowd.
Looked to me, Art, like he caught Dowd completely by surprise. These guys are all hooked up in a great battle, but Kevin Wyndham is just pulled away from this pack.
Huffman is back by 3.2 seconds already. As we take a look at the top 10, is already 14.6 seconds back. Mike LaRocco, number 5, is now taking on John Dowd, and LaRocco's pouring on the coal. The Honda factory connection.
He made that whoop section look like a straightaway. Art just rode right around Dowd. That'll mess with Dowd's head the rest of the night. He'll know he needs to pick it up or it's going to keep on happening.
Mike LaRocco going into the 4th spot now. Remember, the top 4 make it directly to the main out of this qualifying heat.
Dowd struggling once again through that whoop section, and now Roncada is able to get back around. It could be arm pump. These guys get tight early in the season. It's pretty chilly out there. It's hard to get warmed up.
And so Wyndham is still our leader. Remembering that only 4 of these riders will take it directly to the main. We'll be back with more in a moment. Welcome back to Anaheim, California. The first qualifying round as Kevin Wyndham, number 14, is way out in front. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
The high hopes over at Yamaha for David Villeman, the Frenchman they brought over. I got to tell you, his debut went bad in the second corner. He got knocked over the hay bales. He's not going to qualify directly in this heat race. He's going to have to go to the semi.
So Wyndham, number 14, though, is really clipping him off, David.
Art is riding beautiful. I haven't seen a mistake yet. Watch his timing. Perfectly onto the downside, right there to the outside. And he's not using that inside groove that's developed through the whoops right there. So Kevin seems to be able to ride anywhere on the racetrack right now.
Wyndham would love to use tonight's race as a launching pad for a breakthrough year of a great season. There's our second place rider, number 20, Huffman. LaRocco, number 5, and third.
LaRocco has come from not so great start, worked his way up into position, and he's got time to get by Huffman before this is over. That will improve his gate position for the main event.
The battle for the final transfer spot is between 125 East riders trying to get into the main here in the West Coast division. Brock Sellers and Stefan Roncada. 4th and 5th, John Dowd is the veteran left out along with Villeman in 6th and 7th.
Watch LaRocco go to work. He's going to move inside, outside. This is where he's been strong. This section he's approaching. This is where he passed Dowd earlier. He just rode right around him. Huffman's a little stronger through the whoops, though.
LaRocco coming off a strong year. 7 podiums in Supercross, 3rd in the standings. Final lap underway. Wyndham is just taken away with this race.
LaRocco taking over the position. There you see that one line developing down the inside. I think actually what happens, that line is going to get so chewed out. It's working now, but later on in the night, guys are going to move away from there, and you will see some passing through that section. Look at the timing of LaRocco right onto the backside of that double jump. You come up a little short right there. That turn gets there in a hurry. You go right off the track.
Mike LaRocco skying past Jean-Sebastian Waugh as we go back to our leader, Kevin Wyndham. And Wyndham will take the checkered flag, winning the first qualifying heat of the year 2000 in Supercross. And here is Mike LaRocco taking second place. Damon Hoffman in third, and Brock Sellards is in the good position for that final transfer spot to the main event in fourth place. So here are the four riders that make our main event right off the bat from the first qualifying heat. The guy on the bubble left out is Stefan Roncada. And Villeman, Lewis, and Roncada will have to go on to the semifinal round. Let's go down and check in with Davey Coombs.
Well, I'm down here with a guy who'd much rather be out on the racetrack on a motorcycle. Four-time national champion Jeff Emming. Jeff, tough break, 2 broken arms.
Yeah, on December 30th, I was out practicing, you know, just really getting things together, and really feeling strong on the bike, and just came up a little bit short on a small jump, you know, nothing major. And just the way that I hit and the way that I leveraged my wrist, it broke my wrist on both sides.
What's the prognosis? When are we going to see you back on a motorcycle?
Well, I've got 5 weeks in cast above my elbow, short cast after that, and then I'm sure a certain amount of rehab. But I'm fortunate that the EdgeSports.com is sticking behind us in North County Yamaha. They've got a team together, and so I'll have something, you know, what to come back to when I decide to get back on the bike.
We'll look forward to it, Jeff. Back upstairs.
It's got to be, even though he's got a smile on his face, David Bailey, a very frustrating situation after he is a former champion in 1997, taking the title away from Jeremy McGrath, and then having some real tough times of it, and he's on the comeback trail. And to have that happen.
Really unfortunate. I watched him at the Supercross in Vegas. He won that one. He seemed to be back on track. I talked with him earlier. He was so happy with the way he was riding. His lap times at the Yamaha track were as fast as McGrath, and he felt like he had the whoop sections dialed in. It's just too bad he doesn't have a chance to prove it.
With a very happy Kevin Windham right now is our Davey Coombs.
I felt good. Just, you know, we'll see how this second qualifier goes. You know, I got a lot of competition left in this second one, but felt good. Hopefully I go out there and do the same thing in the main. Just, you know, stay comfortable and consistent for 20.
Any extra incentive having lost your teammate Ezra Luss this afternoon?
Yeah, that was real unfortunate. You know, man, I know how hard he's been working. You know, all of us over at Honda, and I know how hard he's been working. It's real unfortunate for something like that to take him out where he wasn't really in control of what was going on. But he'll be back. But there's definitely some pressure on me and Tortelli now. You know, we want to bring it to Honda, and I definitely want to bring it to myself as well. So we'll just go out there and try our best.
45,000 strong, a sellout here in Anaheim as they await the appearance of Jeremy McGrath taking to the track in our second qualifier. It'll be coming up next. The Seattle round of the 1999 Supercross season was full of great race action and a first corner pileup that left a half dozen major stars, including McGrath, Emming, and Lusk, on the ground and out of contention. While they picked themselves up, much to the delight of the highly partisan near-capacity crowd, homeboy Larry Ward, number 7, and Kevin Windham, number 14, were staging at Donnybrook over the lead. Larry had it, Kevin wanted it, and he got it. But hey, the Seattle Kingdom is Ward country. With the crowd cheering him on, Larry Ward hung tough. Through a set of rolling jumps, Ward got the inside line. And at the end, Windham had nowhere to go. While Larry Ward pulled away, the field caught up to Windham, and a major warfare broke out. The rider in blue, number 6, is John Dowd. He passed Windham for second. In the closing laps, LaRocco caught Dowd, laid a little shoulder on him, and took over second place. When Larry Ward crossed the finish line, a Supercross era ended. The Kingdom, slated to be torn down in the year 2000, had been a regular stop of the circuit since 1978. It was fitting then that the final race was won by the hometown hero. Welcome back to EA Sports Supercross from Anaheim, California. Their hearts are pounding as the riders are revving it up for our second qualifying heat, including Jeremy McGrath, Larry Ward, Tim Ferry, Greg Albertine, Sebastian Tortelli, Jimmy Button, Ricky Carmichael. This field is loaded for the second qualifier.
There's about 9 guys in this heat race that could feasibly win it. Sign it sideways.
And let's take a listen to the sounds. And going flying off the track. Was it Jimmy Button? Yes, number 12, Jimmy Button in the 4-stroke, along with Greg Albertine, number 7. They'll likely have to go to the semifinal round to make the main event here this evening in Anaheim. What disappointment for Jimmy Button on the 4-stroke Yamaha.
But out in front, while Jimmy Button tries to get that 4-stroke started back up, McGrath controls the race as he heads into the first triple.
Jeremy McGrath, who's won 4 consecutive races here before last year's defeat at the hands of Ezra Lusk, has Larry Ward, number 10, and his Chaparral Yamaha teammate, number 15, Tim Ferry, behind him in second and third.
It's interesting right now, in both practice sessions, Larry Ward jumped out right behind McGrath, studied everything. Here he is in the heat race behind him again.
Let's take another look at that start.
Well, I've never seen guys shoot off through the first corner the way they did. Had nowhere to go, went right off over the banking, through those tough blocks.
Look to the
Button just had to go straight.
Yeah. Our team went flying over there too.
Carmichael just riding the very ridge of that, kind of floated right back into the racetrack. Heads up by him to not go over the top of that. If he had, he'd be last.
Yeah, Albertine.
Looked like Albertine got bumped, and then he went out and hit somebody else. It was just a domino.
Our leader, Jeremy McGrath, is dominating by a second a lap.
There's one of those little slips Davey talked about. He got into that corner, tried to get on the power, and anytime you see a shiny spot out there, that's where it's real slick. And they're getting a yellow flag here over the triple. The riders are asked to take these jumps one at a time because there's a rider down.
It's Dustin Nelson from El Cajon, California. Number 4, Ricky Carmichael, is on the bubble. He has Shane King in front of him. He has to pass Shane King before he gets a chance at qualifying to the main event. McGrath, Larry Ward in first and second. Perry in third. And Carmichael gives a nice shove to move into the position.
And that's the result. King just found out how aggressive Ricky Carmichael really is.
Shane King from New Zealand won the championship down under. A little different class of racing, even though the Australian and New Zealand racers are getting better and better each year. As we take a look at Jeremy McGrath. Did he have his game face on before this race?
I'll tell you what, I haven't seen Jeremy look this serious since a while back. And he told me, he goes, you know, I'm feeling like I did when I was a rookie. I love this. I'm enthusiastic. I'm way ahead of where I was last year. The bike is perfect. It turns great. Obviously, he's got the power dialed in because he got the whole shot.
He looks in the best shape of his career. He's only something like 2 pounds more than he was in his first 2 seasons of action, and that's in strength.
He just turned 28. He says he's got to train quite a bit harder, more often, and watch his diet a little more than he used to. But he still thinks he has something for these kids, he called them.
We might have a battle on for second place now. Looking back is Larry Ward, and it's McGrath's new teammate, Tim Ferry, number 15, trying to take over second place. Ferry obviously has learned some tricks from Jeremy.
You know, it was really fun watching him in practice. He almost made that pass stick. Larry did a good job to close that line back off and keep his spot, but Jeremy had Ferry riding around behind him, and they'd stop and practice to start and talk about different sections of the racetrack. I'm sure Ferry is really getting a lot of help.
So our race action continues. Jeremy McGrath leading our second qualifying round. 4 more riders will advance to the main when we return. Welcome back to Supercross at Anaheim. Jeremy McGrath dominating the second qualifying heat. He's never looked better.
Well, I think he's looked as good, though. That's the guy is just amazing. Right here, that whooped out double jump. He just rides right up through there the way Kevin was in the first heat, like they're not even there. He and Kevin are definitely in a class by themselves tonight. If they get off together, we're in for a great battle.
Tim Ferry, his teammate, in second place. Larry Ward in third. Ricky Carmichael is in the final transfer spot. Here's number 4, and here's how he got there.
Comes in on the inside of Shane King on that big KTM. Tried to make that polite, but at the last second, looked like he lost his balance, had to kind of give him an elbow, and sent King right off the racetrack. Ricky Carmichael is not messing around. A few things make him more angry than to be back in the pack, look across and see McGrath in the lead. He wants to beat him so bad.
White flag lap, final lap here in our second qualifying heat. One of the all-time great 125 riders, Ricky Carmichael, trying to adjust now to the 250s as we take a look at our leader, Jeremy McGrath. I've been impressed with Tim Ferry in this one as Jeremy takes time to salute the fans. A sellout crowd here in Anaheim for round number 1. Round number 2 next weekend is also expected to be a sellout here in the hotbed of Supercross and motocross racing in Southern California. The checkers for Jeremy. Jeremy McGrath looking so refined. Here's Carmichael. Number 21 is Sebastian Tortelli in 5th, the Frenchman for Team Honda. He's got his hands full. Can he hold on to the final transfer spot? Ricky Carmichael, number 4. This is an important one for him to build his confidence after a crash-filled last year in 250 Supercross. He gets the checkers, he gets the transfer. Tortelli goes to the semifinal round along with Jimmy Button, Greg Albertine. Isn't it interesting that so many of the fine foreign riders who've come over here tonight to begin the Supercross round will have to go to the semifinals? Villeman, King, Tortelli, and Albertine. In our second qualifying heat, Jeremy McGrath, Tim Ferry, Larry Ward, Ricky Carmichael, all transferring now to the main event. 8 riders have qualified. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Jeremy, I know that was only your opening statement, but man, what an exclamation point.
Well, Davey, I've had a lot of time off, a lot of time to think about what I was doing over the summer. And, you know, I started riding in September, and I wasn't so sure. I was kind of shaky, crashing a lot, and we've been working hard. I have Gary Stemmick's back out here with me to train with me, and he's been out here for 6 weeks now. And I think my mental confidence is definitely back.
Well, David Maley made the comment that you already look as good as you ever have. You got your fighting weight down. You're riding like this is the middle of April.
Yeah, you know, the last couple of years, notoriously, I haven't been a great starter in the beginning of the season. I kind of get the ball rolling, and then I finally pick it up in the middle. And I'd like to bring back the old Jeremy McGrath and try and win the races right off from the beginning.
A closer look at Jeremy McGrath's career when EA Sports Supercross continues. These aerial pictures from the Goodyear blimp are courtesy of Dunlop, the #1 tire for motorcycles. And Joel and Fabian are up there. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and giving us those great shots over Edison International Field here in Anaheim, California. 45,000 strong. Seeing in the second heat, Jeremy McGrath take the victory easily. Year after year, Jeremy keeps raising the bar in talent. And for the first time in his career, he didn't even compete in the National Championship Motocross Series, but he's in the best shape of his life. In a country that idolizes superstars, 28-year-old Jeremy McGrath stands tall. With no argument, he is the best to ever grace the high-flying, physically demanding sport of Supercross. With 60 career victories and 6 championships, McGrath has set records that most likely will never be toppled. His fame blossomed in the 125 class, where he earned championships in 91 and 92. 1 year later, as a rookie, he shocked the Supercross establishment by winning the first of his 6 250 crowns.
What was different about me is a lot of the guys in the 125 class, you know, they set their sights maybe a little low. You know, they start with the amateur stuff and they want to win that 125 championship, and then once they do that, they're like, you know, I'm there, I'm already there. You know, all I could think about, no matter how many races I was winning in 125, all I could think about was getting to that 250 class, because that was the premier class. I wanted to be there. I wanted to race with the best guys, and I knew inside that I had it and that I could do it.
The next 3 years, McGrath and his factory Honda earned 3 more titles. The combination appeared unbeatable. McGrath then shocked the two-wheeled racing world by leaving the Honda factory team. In 1997, he rode a Suzuki to second place in the championship standings behind Jeff Emig.
There's no question in my mind that I feel I beat myself. You know, I had won 4 championships up to that point, Supercross, with ease, no problem. There should have been no way that I should have lost that year. I beat myself, and you know, that's something, if I could go back and do it over again, I would do things a lot differently that year on my personal side. You know, I would focus a little more, spend a little more time doing the things I need to do to be a champion. And, you know, there's no way I beat myself for sure.
Jeremy returned to his championship ways in 98 and 99 while riding for Chaparral Yamaha, and is the heavy favorite to win again in the year 2000.
It's going to have to start with the starting gate, because I think that I get good starts, and probably 90% of the times I'm going to be in the top 3. And, you know, if that happens, then I think the next thing to do is the first 8 laps of someone's going to have to be super fast, because that's when I make the biggest move. You know, the first 8 laps is the most important part of the race. And if I can get out and get in front, then the 8 laps that I'm going to be in front are going to be the fastest laps of the night, because I want to set myself apart from the rest of the field. That way, then I can just ride their pace, and they're never going to catch me.
See McGrath and the rest of the Supercross stars live and in person. Make your plans now. After our Anaheim series, we go to San Diego on the 22nd. Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix on the 29th. And then the tradition-rich Houston Astrodome for Supercross on the 5th. In years past, the semis have provided some of the best bar-banging action we've had. Riders are anxious not to go all the way to the last chance qualifier. The semifinals are coming up next. On this week's Honda Close-Up, we take a look back at a young man from El Cajon, California, who was born to race. Coming up through the ranks, Rick Johnson established himself as one of the sport's biggest superstars. RJ tallied 28 Supercross wins, one more than the great Bob Hanna, and the all-time record until broken by Jeremy McGrath. From Supercross and motocross to off-road racing and ASA Stock Cars Rookie of the Year, Rick Johnson, born to race. This week's Honda Close-Up. Welcome back to our Supercross action as we go to our first semifinal round with Stefan Moncada, John Dowd, David Villeman, Sean Perolio, Michael Brandis, Kelly Smith, Tyler Evans, Sebastian Waugh, Coy Kita, all fighting for the top 5 positions. Those top 5 will transfer to the main event here this evening.
Things looking a lot better for Villeman now, back out front. This guy's a lot of fun to watch, and he uses his body so much.
Number 934 is Villeman. A big number, but he likes to use that lucky number from last year. This is his first full-time year in American Supercross with Team Yamaha. He came in second in the GP motocross scene in the 250s last year. Here's John Dowd, number 16, trying to hold on to that number 2 spot with number 31, Sebastian Waugh. Sebastian Waugh out of Canada, David.
That's a real contrast in styles from Villeman back to John Dowd. Villeman, a tall, lanky guy that's all over the bike like Spider-Man. And then you got Dowd, who's short, stocky, a little bit stronger, rides a lot more muscle, stays a little stiffer on the bike.
Waugh and number 27, Michael Brandis, battling for 3rd, but Tyler Evans in 5th. And Sean Perolio on the bubble in 6th. There's 27, Brock Sellers. And 45 is Tyler Evans. Evans in 5th. Looking to catch up on things with Perolio, number 104 on the Kawasaki. And joining us in the booth, it is our great pleasure to announce as the motorcycle racer of the century, not just the decade, the century, Kenny Roberts. Kenny, it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
You used to do this stuff?
Well, I never did this stuff. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah, but you could drag your knee on pavement at 100. These guys can't do that.
Well, I'll tell you, these guys, I have a lot of respect for these guys. I used to do this to stay in shape, and of course we still do it. My sons do it. It's just an awesome sport, and it's great for what we do.
Speaking of your sons, you've got to be proud of Curtis and also Ken.
They're doing very well, and they're still learning, obviously, and you know, I really can't say anything right now. They're both doing very well.
What about future plans for you?
Well, I don't have any. I'm trying to grow old peacefully, but haven't really done that yet. Just got injured the other day for something that I shouldn't have been doing, but nothing yet. I'm still watching the kids.
Okay, and thanks for dropping in and saying hello to everybody. Congratulations on that terrific award.
Well, thank you.
Rider of the Century.
Yeah, it's, I kind of thought I was done with the awards, but it was nice when I heard about it. It just came off good.
Our first semifinal round is Villeman in the lead, Dowd in second, Brandis in third. We'll be right back to see who will jump to the main event out of this semifinal round when we return. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs bringing you the action from the semifinal round now as David Villeman, number 934 out of France. Outstanding technique, good timing. He has just run away with this semifinal. And the last lap white flag is out. It is Villeman. John Dowd still holding on to second place. Michael Brandis in third. Tyler Evans in fourth. Law in fifth. And on the bubble is Stefan Roncano, 125 rider.
And it was interesting watching Villeman just go through that whoop section. I talked to him earlier, and he said they were pretty tough and a little closer together than what he's used to, so he didn't think he'd be able to jump through them with the timing that he's so famous for, but he just did it. So these things are starting to get broken down, and it's really favoring his style.
The heel clicker. In the 125s, when he had that championship battle with John Dowd, Dowd eventually won the crown. But he had many races where he was out in front and loved to entertain the fans as he's doing here in Anaheim, California.
He was doing heel clickers in practice. I think a lot of the guys do that stuff not really to show off, but just to feel comfortable. They do this stuff during the week, so why not try to pull that in and be more relaxed?
Don't let the 934 fool you. It is David Villeman taking the checkered flag and winning the semifinal number one here this evening in Anaheim. John Dowd in second place, Michael Brandis in third. Tyler Evans, it looks like, will be in fourth, and maybe Roncano got up into fourth. We'll have to wait and check the official results there. Here they are on the Honda scoreboard. Villeman, Dowd, Brandis, Roncano did move past Evans into fourth. Evans, though, will make the transfer to the main event. Let's go down to Davey.
David, that was a much better ride than you had in the qualifier. You look like you're settling down. The track looks like it suits you now.
Yeah, I had a problem with my rear brake on the first hit, and I went over a bump, so I crashed, and so it was bad for me, but, you know, I ride the semi. My Yamaha put a great all shot, and I could win, you know, easy, and I try to ride smooth and to don't make mistake, and hopefully I can ride like that in the main event.
We'll see in a little bit. Good job.
Thanks a lot.
So David Villeman makes it into the main event. Let's see now if his countryman Sebastian Tortelli of Team Honda can make it out of the second semifinal round into the main event. Our second semi is underway with Tortelli, Voss, Lawrence, Albertine, Goodman, King, Bovoli, Blinkley, Button. He's on that four-stroke, and several others trying to make the main event. Grayson Goodman has the whole shot and the lead. But look at the mess behind him that he left. Pete Voss, number 33, a promising privateer on the Honda, along with number 817, Todd Downs of Corpus Christi, Texas. But number 65, here's an arena crosser who's had a lot of experience. He's a good friend of Jeremy McGrath's, has worked out with him several times. In fact, Jeremy at times has stayed at his place near Dallas to work out before the Dallas Supercross. So he gets good starts, number 65. We'll just have to wait and see if number 7, Greg Albertine, will let him hold on to that number 1 position, and number 65 bobbles.
Well, I was just about to say, Art, that I used to school Grayson Goodman at my place back in Virginia, but now I don't know if that's such a great comment. Anyway, you know, he was always afraid to jump things. He'd come up to him over and over and over and not jump him. Now he's not afraid to jump anything. Very brave out there, a lot of experience.
So Albertine, the big question this season, of course, will it carry over that magnificent story of his performance in last year's Nationals after injuries and frustrations plaguing his 5 seasons in America? He predicted that this was going to be his year, 1999 in the Nationals, and he went out and won the title.
had to give him a lot of confidence, but then he chose not to ride very many of the races during the off season, and it seems like it's taken him a little bit to get back into flow. He didn't look himself in practice, and seems to be getting it together here now, but he's also got a lot of company from Tortelli.
Here we've got two winners of opening rounds back-to-back. It's 97 and 98 in the order. Greg Albertine and Sebastian Tortelli, and two former GP motocross champions. And there's Jimmy Button, number 12. Button cuts to the inside. Looked like he went down. Button went down as he approached number 21, Tortelli.
And as soon as you slide out of that groove, get into that loose stuff, what happens is all that loose dirt gets spit off into the edge. You get in that stuff, and in some places it's pretty good traction. Others it just kind of shuffles around the top. I think Jimmy found one of those.
So Jimmy Button, instead of settling for third, trying to challenge for second, goes down and will have a big fight on his hands. He might have to go to the last chance qualifier. Greg Albertine, number 7 on the Suzuki. He's signed up for 2 more years. In fact, Suzuki has a 3rd-year option on his new contract after winning that national title last year. Sebastian Tortelli doesn't look like he wants to settle, though, for second place behind Albertine. Let's take another look at Jimmy Button coming in on number 21. See number 12, the 4-stroke?
Actually, that was it was a great idea. He had the pass made. I think he got a little over anxious there, and the bike just touched the top of those last 2 whoops, and the tops of those are starting to get worn off. That's where it's slippery, and he found it.
Well, the opening night of EA Sports Supercross continues as we see this battle for first place when we return. Welcome back, and Tortelli and Albertine are going back and forth for the lead here in the second semifinal round. Jimmy Button did not stall the bike, and he is back up in third, a little ways back. But look at this battle going on. Team Suzuki versus Team Honda. Team Honda number 21, Tortelli, and look at Albertine. He got the jump.
What a race. Tortelli was trying to go in there and predict where he had to place himself in order to make that block pass on Albertine's stick. Albie guessed right, was able to clear the double and get him back.
2 laps to go.
That was a scary moment back there in the beginning of that sequence. Tortelli had made a pass. He landed off one of the jumps in neutral, almost went over the handlebars. Great save. It had to probably mess up his concentration a little bit.
Albertine, Tortelli, Button, King, Lawrence in the top 5 positions with Grayson Goodman on the bubble in number 6. Remember, the top 5 only make it out of the semifinal rounds to go directly to the main event. The rest go to the last chance qualifier, and only 2 riders will get the last 2 gate positions out of that.
This is where all that seesaw battle started a lap ago. Tortelli was able to get through the section approaching the triple a little quicker, had the inside. These guys just went back and forth.
Jimmy Button is starting to pick up on Tortelli. And the two are right close to each other as they approach the lappers. And as the white flag is out, it's the final lap.
I think they did a pretty good job with designing this racetrack, because you can see these guys able to use a lot of different lines, different techniques and rhythms through these sections and still stay close.
Button went down again outside our camera angle. So Jimmy Button having trouble on this slick track. You usually think of the 4-strokes as having good adhesion, better adhesion than the 2-strokes on a slippery surface.
Now, the good news is he's able to keep the bike running both of those times, and he hasn't lost many positions. He'll still go to the main event, but it's got to be frustrating for him.
We're on the last lap. Look at Tortelli. He's got a great spirit about him.
You know what's smart is Albertine moved over, took his line, and Tortelli wasn't able to do the triple, so that gave him a little bit of breathing room. He's going to need it heading into that last turn before the checkered flag.
Tortelli was leading in points in that great battle with Albertine in the Nationals this last year when he suffered a horrendous crash in Unadilla. The checkered flag goes to Greg Albertine. Tortelli, the close second. We'll have to check out and see who finished third. It is none other than Jimmy Button keeping that 4-stroke alive. Bill Lawrence is in 4th, and I believe that Grayson Goodman might have captured 5th in front of Shane King. We'll have to wait for the official announcement. But there is our winner of the second semifinal, and on his way to the main event, Greg Albertine. Well, that was a great battle.
He had to work hard for that. You don't want to use that much energy in a semi, but he's in the main, and he'll have a pretty decent gate position.
Before this sellout crowd of 40,000, 45,050, it's Albertine, Tortelli, Button, and Lawrence and Goodman on their way to the main event. Let's go down to the winner's platform.
Wow, Greg, what a great battle between you and your fellow world champion, Sebastian Tortelli. It was like watching a chess match.
Well, Sebastian was going really well. I think he had some faster lines than me at the back section, but I've kind of figured out where he was going a little faster and tried to pick it up, and you know, just held strong and put my Suzuki up front.
What about the main event? Where are you going to pick on that start? It seems like the whole shots are coming from everywhere.
Yeah, well, definitely inside. I had a great start in the qualifier, but got pushed wide and had a crash, so definitely inside. I feel like I'm starting great, getting my Suzuki right up there in front.
More outstanding racing before the sellout crowd here at Edison International Field in Anaheim, California, when we return. One of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, has been providing these aerial pictures. Goodyear blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year, covering major sporting events. Davey, we're almost set for the start now. The 30-second board is up for the first 125 race of the 21st century. We've got Greg Schnell, Lionel Pingree. These guys have got to be the favorites, with Danny Smith in there, maybe thrown in as well. But we're just about ready to go, and these guys are getting nervous.
They are. The gate sign is sideways.
Check it out from the blimp. A good clean start. Danny Smith doing a fine job. Let's see as we check the lineup that is number 32. It is Danny Smith from Middleton, Idaho, on the FMF Honda, getting the whole shot and the lead. Billy Payne looks in good position.
David Pingree also right in there.
Let's take another look at the start from ground level this time, David.
A couple of guys getting pinched off right away. They've just got to wait. The guys from the outside have that faster line into the corner. The inside guys got to get on the brake. That's safe. Everyone on the outside gets pushed wide into those tough blocks.
A good tight battle going on. So Danny Smith gets the YahooSports.com Whole Shot Award of $500 for the 125s. It's a $1,000 prize for the 250s coming up a little bit later. Number 35 is David Pingree. He's got two 125 career Supercross victories already to his credit. Justin Buckaloo in third, Billy Payne in fourth, Greg Schnell in fifth, and Yuri Dostal in sixth place.
What a thrill for Danny Smith right here. Art, I can't remember him leading a 125 main event.
Danny Smith had two podiums last year in the 125 East. His best Supercross ever, David, was a second place at Indianapolis last year. And then he also got a third at Daytona, which was a very good ride.
If I remember right, he had a good run in Atlanta, and where this kid usually comes on strong is in the end of the race. Now it's different because he's not coming from behind. He's going to have to deal with pressure, and we'll find out what he's made of here.
A lot of good riders didn't make it to the 125 main event.
Oh, you had guys like Jason McCormick, Casey Johnson. Casey won this race last year. They both had to come to the main event from the last chance qualifier, got a horrible pick to the gate, a bad start because of it.
Justin Buckaloo is putting the pressure on in second place. He's out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Number 158. We're seeing the leader, number 32, Danny Smith. And there's 35, David Pingree of Primal Suzuki. And Buckaloo is in number 158.
Billy Payne working on him, but it does look like these guys are starting to follow the same line. Very difficult to pass if you're following somebody.
1.3 second advantage for Smith is all, though.
You can see Danny Smith jump into that corner and kind of glance over to see where Pingree was. He's worried about him. That's the thing that Pingree's got to do. Stay close enough to make Danny worry a little bit.
Casey Johnson has moved up to sixth place. Casey Johnson winning this race here last year.
He's got Boland right behind him. Actually, one rider in between him now. Casey's got time to move up. He came from behind last year. Didn't make his pass till the final lap.
David Pingree got a final lap victory last year. So David really improved things. He was thinking for a while he might go back to college and give up his professional racing career the way things were in a lull. But here comes Pingree. Pingree makes the pass on Danny Smith.
I didn't think there was enough room through there. Just a little tiny mistake by Danny Smith, and a lot of aggression by Pingree made that happen. Now Buckaloo is starting to put the pressure on Danny. That's going to force, he'll have to worry about him as well. That could give the advantage to Pingree, be able to take whatever line he wants, not have to worry about somebody's front tire getting in the way.
Buckaloo is Yamaha Troy's youthful project.
Look at Buckaloo.
Look at Buckaloo.
Over the triple. For the 125s to jump that triple, Casey Johnson's also doing it, but it's very difficult to get a run because these guys only have about 30 feet. They've got to jump 70 feet.
Casey Lytle, who won one of the qualifying heats, is way back in 11th place. David Pingree, our leader, last year in Minneapolis. Hubert Humphrey Dome. Last lap victory, Justin Buckaloo and David Pingree going at it now for the lead.
And you can see that Danny Smith now is starting to drop back. So it could be, as I pointed out, that he's never had the position of the lead in the beginning of the race. All those riders breathing down your neck. First race of the year made him nervous. His arms could have pumped up. You can't even feel the brake, the clutch, the throttle. And when your arms pump up, you're just a sitting duck out there. And it looks like that could be happening now.
Snell trying to make a move on number 195, Billy Payne of the Pro Circuit team. And Payne currently in 4th place. Danny Smith now in 3rd, with Buckaloo moving up to 2nd to challenge Pingree. Take another look at that lead change.
Just squeezed his way in there, clipped the front wheel of Danny just to try to make it into that rut. If he hadn't gone in there and clipped him a little bit, he wouldn't have gotten that rut. Danny would have got him back.
Pingree's first 125 win, you might remember this, was San Jose, California, back in 1995, David. We'll be right back as the checkers will be waving when we return to Anaheim, California. Welcome back to our 125 main event now as David Pingree and Justin Buckaloo battle for first. It was Greg Schnell in 3rd place, but right there after an accident is Billy Payne.
You can see it looks like he's in a little bit of pain. He went off the track. He's approaching this double jump that's full of whoop-de-doos. Hits a tough blocks right there. Gets a little bit too close to the edge of the racetrack. Seemed like he couldn't let go of the bike. He just got drugged. Like those bull riders, they can't get loose. You want to get away from that bike when you're crashing.
So a horrible break for Billy Payne out of Simi Valley, California on the Pro Circuit ride. He's moved down to 15th place now. Trying to get it back up to speed in those whoops. Let's go back to our leader now, David Pingree.
I'll tell you what's interesting is there's plenty of time for Buckaloo to catch the leader Pingree we're looking at right now, and the way he's doing it is he's jumping this triple over here on the far side. Pingree didn't jump at this past lap. Buckaloo did, and he closed the gap even more.
David Pingree, number 35. He really stepped up things toward the end of the Nationals last year, as he did during the Supercross season.
8 laps to go. That's plenty of time. They're going to start encountering a few lap riders. That could change things.
Let's check in with Davey Combs about Buckaloo. Davey.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with Justin Buckaloo. This is his first ever pro race. Guys, he got hurt last August at Loretta Lynn's, which was supposed to be his last amateur race. He sat on most of the fall. And I got to tell you, it's like Yamaha Troy bringing in Ernesto Fonseca last year. Looks like they got another winner on his hands. And think of this. We've been making a big deal about that East Coast rider, Travis Pastrana. He hasn't ridden a Supercross yet. Buckaloo might steal some of that guy's glory.
Oh, this is exciting. Eric Keogh, their team manager, and Yamaha Troy, and the owner, Phil Alderman. Here's the battle for third on. Side by side we go.
I'll tell you what, I've just shifted my energy over to Casey Johnson right now. He's the rider on the move. I believe he's the fastest rider on the track.
Number 29, Casey, going down twice during the qualifying heat, having to go to the LCQ. Casey Johnson moving up the ladder to fourth. He's now moved into third. David Pingree, Justin Bucklew, Casey Johnson is our order. With number 32, Danny Smith. You see him in our picture now.
Seems to have regrouped a little bit.
Trying to battle Schnell for fourth.
There was only a couple of laps there that really caught Danny off guard. A lot of riders went by him. Seems to have gotten comfortable again.
Boy, did Casey Johnson have a great battle here last year with Casey Lytle. They were Yamaha Troy teammates at the time. Lytle had the lead, and Johnson came back on the very last lap to pass Lytle to take the victory in the opening round of the season here. Schnell trying to hold off number 32, Danny Smith, for fourth. As Pingree still holds on to that lead against Justin Bucklew. There's Schnell. Basically a privateer, gets his support from Motor World Yamaha.
Now, last year about the midway point, if somebody would have told me, I think Casey Johnson can win this thing, I would have thought, no way. He's in the same position again, about the same distance back from the lead. Buckaloo's down.
Bucklew going down. The yellow flag is up. So Casey Johnson has a chance to move up one more notch. Check it out again. See what happened to Justin here.
Well, that's a rhythm section as they approach a left-hander into another rhythm section. And looked like he just got a little bit off his timing. It took him a long time to get going. Casey Johnson has moved into second place. The last time I saw him go over the triple, he looked over and saw where Pingree was. He's not settling for second place.
Here's our leader, David Pingree. Pingree looking very strong and in great shape. So our 125 main event continues. Can Pingree hold off the experienced charging Casey Johnson? We've got 5 laps to go. We will return. The young future superstars of Supercross are on the track right now. Welcome back to our 125 main event here from Anaheim, California, the opening round of the season. This is the battle for third coming up as number 35 is David Pingree, our leader, and he's held on beautifully. But the battle for third right now is between number 63, Greg Schnell, and number 32, Danny Smith. Casey Johnson is in a lonely land there, David Bailey, in second place, about 8 seconds behind the leader.
I'll tell you what, though, what a ride. And coming from the last chance qualifier, a lousy pick to the starting line for the main event, a bad start because of it. And he is closing on the leader, Pingree. Although Pingree, as we came back, you saw him look over. He knows right where Johnson is, and with the laps remaining, I don't think Johnson's close him fast enough.
Here's the battle for third still, as Schnell just won't crack. Danny Smith, number 32, trying to pick up on the whoops. Schnell's riding a fine race.
It does so much for your confidence when you start the season off with a look at the lead, good start, good clean race, battling with the front runners. It's a lap rider going down. Looked to me like Schnell cut across the inside of that corner. It wasn't a fast line, but he's really starting to think about what he needs to do to keep Danny Smith back there.
Only 3 laps to go here for the 125 main event. Schnell's got to be smart and strong. As Danny Smith, we've seen him hop over a corner to take away a position in a race.
Whatever it takes. This is the triple that the leaders are able to get over. Each lap, they're picking up another second. The gap for the lead, as these guys continue to battle, has closed to 5 seconds. This is the part of the race where you're starting to get tired. Concentration, lapped riders, track's getting slick.
Can David Pingree hold off Casey Johnson? He had a pretty good start on him. And here's the battle for third once again. Still about 5 bike lengths. There's Casey Johnson in second place, number 29.
You know, and if he ends up in second, Art, I think he'll take it. I think he'll be pretty happy considering how the day began, really. He didn't look that great in practice. He struggled in the heat race, went to the last chance, barely made that.
A sour evening for Talon Boland. The pro circuit rider went down. Never known for being a Supercross rider, however. Talon came through and gave Ricky Carmichael quite a challenge during the Nationals.
There's your leader.
The final lap is underway for David Pingree. Pingree looking for his third 125 Supercross victory. Oh, did a little wheelie off that one.
I don't think he meant to do that. Probably got his heart rate a little bit higher. But David's pretty experienced. He's won before. He's challenged for the lead. He knows what he needs to do is just be smart in his final lap, not make a major mistake, and he should be able to win it.
The primal Suzuki rider has got Roger DeCoster looking wide-eyed at him right now. Because Pingree is coming through in the first race of the year.
Decides to play it safe over that triple. He had a couple lap riders in the way. Luckily, he had enough cushion on Johnson.
This is turning out to be a good story for David Pingree, whose career he thought was almost washed up. Taking on the lap riders. Look out for trouble. Putting a hand in the air. David Pingree takes the checkered flag. Like he was on a Sunday ride instead of Saturday night. Casey Johnson in second place. That'll put him in good stead points-wise for the 8th race 125 West season. Greg Schnell in third, taking the checkered flag.
There was a time, like you said, where his career was in question. He broke his leg badly at press day in San Diego one time, and it looked like he might call it quits, but what a comeback.
The happy Pingree taking a victory lap. It's Pingree, Johnson, Schnell, Smith, and Shane Bentley doing a fine job. He has not had much Supercross time, and he moves in to the top 5 for that pro circuit team of Mitch Payton's.
Great way to start the season. I mean, it started a lot earlier for him because he was originally scheduled to ride in the East.
Yuri Dostal in 6th. Talon Boland came up to 7th with Jason McCormick in 8th. Christopher Gassler and Billy Payne rounding out our top 10. Let's check out Davey Coombs now as he makes his way toward the podium.
Oh, man, Ping, I know this one's got to feel good right here in front of everyone in Anaheim. I know you've been working all winter long for this.
I have, man. I mean, I've been working 6 years long for this. I've had a lot of injuries and a lot of things keeping me back. And man, we worked so hard. I'm so happy for my whole team. It feels great.
I know last year you won that finale in the 125 West region in Minnesota. Gave you something to work off of. You come out here, you're the points leader, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how good it feels. I'm shaking right now, you know, and it feels great.
Fantastic ride, David.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So David Pingree breaks the Yamaha string of 4 straight 125 wins here at Anaheim, California. Casey Johnson, John Dowd, Kevin Windham back-to-back wins in 1996 and 97. Pingree is the man of the hour in the 125s. Time is near for the greatest Supercross racers in the world to rev it up. The 250s hit the track when we return. On a VA Sports Supercross from Edison International Field in Anaheim, California. Our main event getting ready. There's Greg Albertine with the helmet on, anxiously awaiting the start of the first race of the year. Let's take a look at the starting lineup now for tonight's race. The 2 heat winners, Jeremy McGrath and Kevin Windham. Tim Ferry, McGrath's teammate, right up there, along with Mike Larocco, Larry Ward, Damon Huffman, Ricky Carmichael in the main event, along with 125 rider Brock Sellards, who made the main. David Villeman, Greg Albertine, John Dowd, Sebastian Tortelli, Michael Brandis, Jimmy Button on the 4-stroke. Another 125 Eastern rider making the 250 main event, Stefan Roncada, Phil Lawrence, an old-time veteran who came up with Jeremy McGrath in the old days. Tyler Evans, Grayson Goodman, Jean-Sebastian Waugh, and Heath Voss. That's a powerful lineup for our first round of the year, David.
It is, and just to think that we were actually missing a couple of guys, and it's still that strong. We haven't really lost much in terms of the depth and the talent. Carmichael is surprising me a little bit right now. He said he was tight. He looked at, so far, there's McGrath. He's never tight. He's loose. Skip Norfolk just walked away from him, his old mechanic at Honda. I'm sure he probably gave him a couple little words there to make him feel comfortable, but I don't know that Jeremy really needs it. He's starting right next to Kevin Windham. This should be interesting.
That should be a great start, these two. Kevin Windham is known for getting outstanding starts from the Supercross gate.
Well, you got two guys that get outstanding starts, and then number 5, LaRocco, right next to him, who's managed to pull a couple of hole shots here and there and has improved his starting ability, but tonight it hasn't been that great. We'll see if he can pick that up in the main event. They're to the inside of the starter box. Carmichael's just to the other side. So if they all get off even, Carmichael's going wide into those tough boxes again. That could be a
that's
dangerous...
something to watch for, yes. And the great crowd is awaiting to see if anyone can master Jeremy McGrath's performance. 32nd board is up. There's Jeff Stanton, part of the Team Honda crew.
Right next to Roger DeCoster.
And we're almost set for the first Supercross of the 21st century. As soon as the board goes sideways, they'll be revving it up. Number 16 is John Dowd. Let's check out the sights and sounds of our start. Good start by Ricky Carmichael.
He's got his teammate Larry Ward right there in tow. That should help him relax a little bit.
Windham to the outside, number 14 on the Team Honda, with Mike LaRocco a good start, and Jeremy McGrath is in 5th position.
Behind Mike LaRocco, I might add. You don't see that too often in the opening lap.
There's LaRocco, number 5. Number 1 is on the chase.
Bonus for Carmichael, though. Anytime you can get a hole shot, you look over your shoulder and you got your teammate right behind you. It's so much easier to relax and get in your flow. McGrath already going to work, staying low off the triple.
Here comes Windham. He's really pressuring Ward for second. As we see McGrath trying to pick up on LaRocco.
Thought he had him passed, but LaRocco was able to hold him off. Doesn't really matter the opening lap. McGrath has got the leaders in sight. That's all that really matters. He's got the speed.
Here's the battle. Ward boxing out Windham. Windham is really trying to move up into second place there, as Ricky Carmichael is currently in first. This could be a big confidence move for Ricky Carmichael. A podium here in the opening round.
Look at Sellers coming down the inside of McGrath. Makes the pass.
Sellers, number 18, rubbing a little plastic with Jeremy.
Jeremy gets him back, but that was close.
Jimmy Button right behind Jeremy McGrath.
Art, I really didn't think after watching practice that LaRocco looked that sharp. He's really picked it up tonight.
Let's take a look at who won the YahooSports.com Whole Shot Award, $1,000, Ricky Carmichael.
Just edges out Larry Ward. Good clean start. I was worried after that heat race when everyone went down. I think everyone was a little bit careful about that in the first corner. No one wants to start the season crashing in the first corner.
The battle for second is on. Larry Ward sees Windham cut right in front of him before the jump. And there's McGrath right on Ward's tail.
So Windham dishes it right back to Larry Ward in the same place, picks up the spot, but while they change back and forth, Carmichael's pulling away.
Ward was leading after a hole shot here last year and faded to 18th. He's right behind Kevin Windham right now, and Ricky Carmichael is starting to pull out a lead, a 2-second lead.
Think about this. Carmichael injured himself at the Paris Supercross not that long ago. Has probably had less time to prepare for this opener than the guys he's racing with right now, and he's looking pretty flawless so far.
So McGrath has gotten around LaRocco. And here is the battle on with Larry Ward. McGrath making it look easy, passing Larry Ward.
That was just a matter of Jeremy being so much, I don't know what the word is. The guy's got about just a percent on everybody. Everywhere on the racetrack, he's able to stay a little bit lower, a little bit tighter, always in the right line. And it was just picking up a foot here and a foot there that allowed him to get the edge on Larry Ward.
Jeremy McGrath looking near perfect as he pursues Kevin Windham. Windham in second place behind Ricky Carmichael here in the first main event of the year 2000. Whoa, Windham cutting in front of McGrath in this tight battle for second place.
These guys' reflexes are unbelievable. As close as they get to each other and how easy it would be for one of them to clip the other and go down, they still don't. It's amazing.
So the former six-time champion, the defending champion, draws the cheers of the fans here in his backyard, Anaheim, California, making the pass into second place.
And you wonder, how can Jeremy make a pass on somebody as skilled as Kevin Windham, the long legs, able to soak up that takeoff on the triple? Jeremy still stayed lower and got that pass done.
So now, in the crosshairs for Jeremy McGrath is Ricky Carmichael.
I'll tell you, really, it's so important for Carmichael right now to not get flustered about Jeremy. Even if he's able to gain on him and make the pass, Carmichael needs to start the season with a podium finish.
There you see the interval between their leaders, Ricky Carmichael and Jeremy McGrath. And here's the battle between Mike LaRocco and Kevin Windham. Windham winning a heat very impressively, and LaRocco looking very smooth all weekend in practice.
Smooth, but I didn't think he had the speed these guys do, and right now he's showing it. Kevin Windham had a faster heat race than McGrath, not by much, but a little bit faster, and McGrath rode right around and pulled away and has closed the gap on Carmichael.
And here comes LaRocco. LaRocco springs over number 14, Kevin Windham. The Honda factory connection beating Team Honda at that one. And look at McGrath. He's starting to pull up close now to number 4, Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael's first try of the 250, less than stellar last year. Can Carmichael hold off the charge? We'll find out right after these words. Welcome back. The battle is still raging. A new leader, our third leader of the 250 main, and now Ricky Carmichael almost got him back.
That was close. Carmichael ran in there with his front tire and probably just touched the edge of McGrath's boot. This is the opportunity Carmichael's been dreaming about ever since Tampa last year, where he had the hole shot, and a great opportunity to win the race right here. Maybe he can pick up the pace and learn a little bit from Jeremy, find out what lines, what things that Jeremy is doing better to be able to click off that much time of RC's lead.
Carmichael, of course, one of the great all-time 125 riders. He was the first rider to sweep a Supercross 125 season. And, of course, he tied Mark Barnett's all-time 125 record for the national wins with 25 career 125 national wins. Carmichael on the outside tries to make it close once again. Wants to put the heat on Jeremy McGrath. Can you believe this?
I can, because I've spoken with Carmichael quite a bit, and he will not settle for second.
Carmichael retakes the lead. Oh, Jeremy caught the rear wheel on one of the jumps. Controlled it well, and bar to bar we go once again.
This is how you beat McGrath. You challenge him. You don't let him go.
Ricky Carmichael, even McGrath retaking the lead, looks back at the young man from Havana, Florida. And look at LaRocco. LaRocco's getting into the scene. We got a three-way battle going on right now.
So smart by LaRocco right there. He realized he had his line cut off. He decided, oh, I'll just back off here a little bit. Didn't lose hardly any time.
Look at that.
And a textbook block pass right there.
Tremendous block pass by Mike LaRocco puts him into second place.
And what do you think of this idea? LaRocco looks to me like he's gunning for McGrath. He's not just going, all right, I'm in second. This is pretty good. It looks to me like he's still got his sights set on McGrath and winning this opener.
It's important for Carmichael to hold off the rampaging number 14, Kevin Windham, behind him as well. Always vital to get a good start in the point system here in the first round.
Looks as though Windham has regrouped just a little bit. Seemed like he fell off the pace that one lap. Lost a lot of time. He may have kind of got comfortable again.
7 podiums in Supercross last year for this young man, or for Mike LaRocco, as we switch to Jeremy McGrath, our defending champion. 4 consecutive wins here, but he has not won at Anaheim for 3 years. And he's starting to draw a good lead now on Mike LaRocco. As you see, LaRocco number 5, 4 is Ricky Carmichael. Number 14 is Kevin Windham, trying to get the podium spot.
This is going to turn out to be the battle. I have a feeling it looks like LaRocco doesn't have a chance to catch McGrath unless he makes a major mistake. So this is going to be the focus, I believe. Windham still has something left for Carmichael.
Carmichael, with that first serious injury of his career in San Diego last year, set him back, put a foot peg into his leg, cracked pelvis. And so he's had to battle back to regain his confidence as well as his physical endurance. And endurance is going to play a part right now. He can't afford a mistake against Kevin Windham.
And there's a little one that danced right back straight, and rear wheel got out away from him. These whoops, not only do you have to ride across bumps, but they're starting to get rutted out and wants to kick that back in side to side.
Here last year, Carmichael started out in 4th and ended up in 6th when the checkers came out. Here comes Windham. Windham bobbling just a little bit in the whoops, and Carmichael did not bobble.
Even though he's following that rut where they've been worn down more, you've got to stay balanced perfectly straight in the rut. That makes it a little bit tougher.
A lot expected of this young man, number 4, who came into the pro ranks with so many amateur titles and such an impressive entry into the 125 ranks, just dominating. Kevin Windham has had up and down years with injuries, but has shown potential and is looking for year number 2000 to be the breakthrough year for him.
And while we watch this battle, just ahead of these guys, LaRocco has closed the gap on McGrath. So we got a battle for the lead and a battle for third.
Incredible in our opening match here in Anaheim. Here's McGrath, our leader, number 1. It's looking like the whoops aren't even there. The bike and back, number 5, Mike LaRocco. He is picking up on it.
Now you see how close it is. It looked like Jeremy was just getting away at it. I took my eyes off of him. He may have made a mistake that allowed LaRocco to close. See if Jeremy can open it up again.
Jeremy, a disappointing 7th in the opener here last year, was 2nd in round 5 on the rematch here in Anaheim, where LaRocco took a 3rd and a 4th last year here in Anaheim.
Best race between these two guys in St. Louis, I believe, last year. LaRocco out front, challenging McGrath. Here we are at the opener, and he's doing it again.
His career has just been revitalized.
Unbelievable. Last year, he just came back to life. His starts have improved. It's what he needed. The guy is so strong, and Jeremy knows that LaRocco does not mess around the last 5 laps of the main event. That's where Jeremy really needs to have a little bit of a cushion, because I guarantee you they're going to have to deal with lap riders, and if LaRocco's close enough to take advantage of a bad decision by McGrath, that could be the difference.
3rd and 4th in position, Ricky Carmichael and Kevin Windham. 9 laps to go here in our 250 main event. 20 laps for the 250s. And an easy move inside. Kevin Windham makes the pass on Ricky Carmichael.
Looks to me like, if you watch Carmichael's style as he came into that corner, it looks like he just sort of settled. He looked almost as though he went wide on purpose, knowing Kevin was right there. Just didn't want to deal with all that pressure right now. It could be arm pump, tired, anything.
He already has 60 wins in his career. Number 1, Jeremy McGrath continues to lead. We'll check him out when we return from these words. Welcome back to Anaheim, California, where our leader is the Supercross Rider of the Century. That's for sure. And it's only a few days into the century, the new century. And I'm speaking of Jeremy McGrath because he has been near perfect here in the opening round of Supercross in the year 2000. But we've got some tremendous battles going on. Sebastian Tortelli in 5th, Jimmy Button in 6th, and David Villeman in 7th as Windham has just passed Ricky Carmichael. Windham moving into 3rd behind Mike LaRocco.
Actually, it looks like Windham because they're wearing the same outfit, riding the same bike, but it's Tortelli who's come from about 10th place and has worked his way into 4th ahead of Ricky Carmichael. You can see how close they all are.
Does this ring a bell? Tortelli coming from nowhere in the season's opener at the Los Angeles Coliseum.
It rings a bell for sure, although this time we know who he is and we know what place he's in. That was confusing with the 3-digit number. He came out of nowhere, but we got our eyes on him now. He's worked his way up from mid-pack.
So it's McGrath, Larocco, Wyndham, Tortelli, the top 4 with Carmichael, Button, and Villeman in a great battle. This could be a 3-way battle for 4th. There's Villeman, 9:34 on the outside.
Something has had to have happened to Carmichael. Now he's gotten passed by both these guys. Albertine, he just saw him moved ahead of him. He could have come up short on a jump, over-jumped something. It's really hard to tell. Without radio communication from the riders to anybody, you just got to wait and see what happens after the main event. But obviously, Ricky is suffering from some problem because he's way off the pace now.
2-team Yamaha riders battling right there. Number 12, Jimmy Button on the 4-stroke. And number 934 on the 2-stroke Yamaha is David Villeman. Albertine is right behind them with Ward now moving up.
Button putting in a great ride, and that's a completely different power plant, the 4-stroke versus the 2-stroke of Villeman behind him.
Lap riders going down, getting back up. One of them was Heath Voss, number 32, but look at this. David Villeman, number 934, to the inside on Jimmy Button. Can he hold the spot now against the 4-stroke? Villeman, an impressive premier in his first full year in American Supercross.
Now you've got the Frenchman Sebastian Tortelli and another Frenchman, David Villeman. I think Villeman has something for Tortelli before the end of this race.
Number 21 is Tortelli.
And while we're looking at this battle, keep in mind this is 26 seconds behind the leader, McGrath. McGrath has just opened up a tremendous lead over the battle for 3rd. Larocco still staying pretty close behind McGrath, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to close the gap as he did earlier.
Number 21, Tortelli. Approaching 3 laps to go now. Can he hold off his fellow Frenchman, David Villeman? Tortelli, a 125 and 250 World GP motocross champion.
As these guys went over the triple, McGrath was going the other way on the whoop section. If these guys happen to glance over and see that, it's just demoralizing.
Incredible the way that McGrath has just been able to pull away now. Mike Larocco settling in 2nd. Kevin Wyndham in 3rd. Now we pick up number 21 in 4th. Incidentally, Tim Ferry had to bow out of the race after crashing early. Very big disappointment for that Chaparral Yamaha rider.
And with the absence of Lusk for Team Honda, they've still been able to keep Tortelli, who no one really considered to be a Supercross rider. This is the first time he's raced here in the United States since he broke his wrist in Unadilla last year in the Nationals.
Beg your pardon? He ran in the United States, but the GP,
the Grand Prix.
And he came back so soon after that injury to run in that race and did a very credible job. Here's the leader, Jeremy McGrath. Nothing less than sensational right now. And then the battle goes on for 4th.
Looked like Tortelli was going to be able to make a move, but Villeman rather on Tortelli, but Sebastian able to hold him off. And these guys have closed the gap on Wyndham. That's Wyndham just ahead of him.
Both these guys in tremendous physical conditioning.
And I'll tell you what, these are the laps where it really pays off. It's more so than the physical, it's the concentration. I'm playing this EA Sports video game, and I'm getting tired trying to concentrate on that for 5 laps. Imagine this for 20.
Don't forget, you can see this action live, pay-per-view. The final race of the year from Las Vegas. Check it out as we make history once again with Supercross. Final race of the year in Las Vegas on pay-per-view this year. Final lap, white flag is out. Jeremy McGrath is looking to become a winner for the 61st time in his career. This would be the 8th straight year in his career with a victory. And he's serving notice right now for those who question his move of not running the motocross season. He just came back even stronger.
Yeah, I thought we would see that.
The knack-knack.
The crowd was on its feet going, please show us one more of those before it's over. He knows what they want.
You know, Yamaha could make it right now 3 decades in a row tonight. Mike Bell won the first Supercross in the 1980s. And Jeremy McGrath takes the first Supercross in the year 2000. The checkers for Jeremy. Mike Bell won the first Supercross in the 80s. Damon Bradshaw won the first Supercross in the 90s on a Yamaha. And now McGrath has taken it for 3 decades in a row. The opener. The battle for third is still on. Mike LaRocco taking second, but Kevin Windham and Tortelli going at it. There's Kevin Windham, number 14. He will go on the podium. So we'll get a chance to get their reactions when Davey Coombs moves over to the winning podium. EA Sports Supercross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. And by the U.S. Army. Be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. Also by Suzuki during Suzuki Fest 2000. Get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. Jeremy McGrath wins his 61st Supercross. He ties Jeff Ward with winning a Supercross for the 8th consecutive year. Davey Coombs is down near the podium now with those who tried to take it away from him.
Kevin, that was a good ride for third place. It looked like a mature ride for you. Are you thinking about the whole series?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the later stages seems to be my strong point, and I just need to keep going, get up there, and you know, try to keep getting the podiums. I know that's what Jeremy's going to do every time, and you know, I felt good with a little podium ride that time, and you know, just take it from there. Just stay off my head and look forward to a long season.
Good job on the opener.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
This is the first opening season victory for Jeremy McGrath at Anaheim, despite the fact he's got 5 victories here. McGrath, LaRocco taking second, Kevin Windham also on the podium with the 2 Frenchmen rounding out the top 5. Tortelli and Villeman really giving us some excitement during that race, David.
I'll tell you what, Sebastian really picked up the pace when he saw Villeman coming. That was a gutsy ride, and they closed in on Windham. He almost made the podium.
Carmichael slipping to 8th, Ward in 9th, and John Dowd rounding out the top 10 in our season's opener. Let's go back down now to the victory podium and Davey Coombs.
Well, Mike, I got to tell you, I was pretty surprised by that ride. We were talking about a lot of the younger guys, but you went out there and showed you carried the speed over, maybe even improved on it here in 2000.
Well, I tell you what, my AMSOIL competition accessories, Jack in the Box team, we're great going into the season. The new Hondas are awesome. You know, my factory connection suspension worked great out there. So all I really had to do was get a good start, which you know, for me I did, and you know, I rode a pretty good race. Things were pretty busy up front early, and you know, Jeremy got by me because those guys were messing around before the finish line jump, and he's riding good. You know, he was right in my comfort zone. I felt like I had his speed, but I just couldn't make it back up.
Was that your goal in the opener, to come out here and get on the podium?
No, was the win. I felt good all off season. Like I said, the new Hondas are awesome. As soon as I got on the new chassis, I felt real good. It's, I think, a lot better for my riding style, and you know, not to mention runs on a good motor.
Okay, real good ride tonight, Mike.
So Mike LaRocco takes his 2nd place. He had 2nd places in Seattle and St. Louis last year, but he looked a lot smoother early in the season here in the year 2000, David.
I'll tell you what, LaRocco always looks smooth. He's always tough at the end of the race, but what surprised me about him this year is his starts have improved dramatically. And he gave Jeremy a little bit of a scare. He closed the gap a couple of times, and he really didn't lose by much. I mean, he had him in sight the whole race.
Win number 61. Let's check him out.
Man, Jeremy, all that off-season work, it just paid off.
Yeah, the batteries are definitely charged up now. I felt really good out there. I didn't get such a great start and had to work for that one. So that was really good. All the hard work paying off.
It looked like in the beginning, Ricky Carmichael, kind of a surprise, but then later on, we were surprised that Mike LaRocco stayed with you for a little bit. Were you checking the rearview mirror?
Yeah, I was behind Mike for a while, and then Larry and I think Kevin or someone were jacking around here before the finish line, and Mike had to roll it, and then I jumped it, got by him, pulled out a little distance, and he was definitely keeping me honest. I was scoping him every lap.
Finally, how's it feel to get an opening win once again?
Anaheim's always been really good to me, except for the past couple years, and I'm really excited to be here. I mean, like I said, I'm happy to be racing. I've been sitting on the couch for a while, way too long, and it feels nice to be up here.
He has not been sitting on the couch, David Bailey.
He probably wishes he could have sat. That was probably the plan, but I guarantee you there were a lot of contractual obligations during that break, and it probably ended up being a little more busy, and it would have been easier for him to just continue racing.
Every week we'll be awarding the Army Teamwork Award. It takes teamwork even to get to the opening round, and Jeremy McGrath's crew, including mechanic Randy Lawrence, is this week's U.S. Army Teamwork Award winner. How about that, David Bailey?
You know, and I'm not that surprised by that, Art, or by Kevin Windham. I expected those guys to be up there, but the surprise to me was LaRocco and especially Tortelli. And I'm very curious to find out what happened to Carmichael, dropping all the way to 8th.
Art Ekman for David Bailey, Davey Coombs, thanking you for joining us for another exciting season of EA Sports Supercross. Our next telecast on ESPN2 will be coming your way from Anaheim once again. Round 2, another expected sellout next week. It'll be the second time in Supercross history we've had back-to-back weekends in the same city. This has been a production of Pace Motorsports in association with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.